Today is Friday, February 13th, 10:02 a.m. I just finished dropping off my mom for her work. Today is the 6th day of my fitness challenge. I've been going to the gym for 3 times per week for 2 weeks. Today I'm going to be weighing myself just to show you whether I've made any progress at all. And spoiler alert, I did not. I've been struggling to reduce my sugar intake from the beverages I consume. And the workouts that I've been doing, even though I have been doing the workouts, I haven't been doing them as intensely as I should be, as we will talk about later on. But in the spirit of transparency, I'm going to weigh myself now. Here goes. As you can see, instead of reducing my weight, I actually gained some more. So my previous weight, as you may recall, was 176.2. Now it says 176.8. So it seems as though I really do need to take it up a notch at the gym just to increase the intensity of the workouts that I do, and maybe reduce the sugar intake altogether from the beverages that I consume. Just completely eliminate them. Speaking of the beverages that I'm consuming, the plan today is to finish this drink. I still haven't had my breakfast, and I won't have my breakfast because I am doing intermittent fasting. But I am going to finish this honey citrus mint tea that I bought from Starbucks. And then after that, around 10:30 a.m. is when I'm going to be going to the gym, and I'm going to take you along with me. And the plan for today is basically to go to the gym and then film the rest of my day, as well as how I've been feeling for the past 2 weeks, because I think that my past 2 weeks have been a little bit eventful. So I'd like to share what's been happening with me during this time. So more on that later. Okay, so I finished the leg and core workout today. Just an update with regards to my workout sessions. On February 4th, which was the second day of my fitness challenge, I already had to make adjustments. I hopped on the treadmill to do my 15-minute cardio session, which was supposed to be 10-minute incline walk and 5-minute run. But during my 5-minute run, I really started to hate myself, and I was asking myself what I'm doing this all for. And so I figured that if I had to hop on the treadmill and do a 5-minute run each time that I go to the gym, I'm really going to be hating myself a lot. And I realized that it wasn't going to be sustainable, so I decided to basically turn the 15-minute cardio session into a full incline walk, just incline walk throughout. I eliminated the 5-minute run. And that's one of the reasons as to why I feel like I'm not working out as intensely as I should be. But hey, it's what's sustainable for me right now. And I'm going to keep doing it. In terms of my weights, I am lifting weights still. I also had to make some adjustments to make sure that I wasn't just ego lifting. So I lightened the load a little bit for some of the workouts. Not some, most of the workouts, so that I could keep on doing them consistently. But now that my workout for the week is done, it's time for me to get my daily dose of iced coffee. All right, I have my iced coffee now. However, I do have a confession to make. To be fair with me, for the most part, these past 2 weeks have been mostly consistent, especially when it comes to my 1 sugared beverage rule. I have mostly been drinking either black coffee or 1 cream coffee, and then I followed through with my 1 iced coffee rule. However, on February 7th, Saturday, February 7th, I had met up with an old friend of mine who I haven't seen for 7 years or so. And we had a great time. We hung out, we had brunch, and we roamed around Vaughan Mills. But I treated the day as an excuse for a cheat day. So I was having such a great time that I decided, you know what, it wouldn't hurt for me to break my rule today. So instead of just consuming one iced coffee for that day, I ended up getting another large iced coffee, and then since I had already 2 large iced coffees for the day, I decided, what's another medium cup of coffee gonna do? I already broke my rule. So in total, I had 3 cups of iced coffee on that day. So I broke my word. But that was the only day that I did that. I did return to that, to following the rule, the days after it. So now I'm back to 1 sugared beverage per day. But I just had to admit that I did break my word for that Saturday when I met up with my friend, just to be transparent with you guys. This is my lunch today. Bicol Express with iced coffee. Yep, so I finished my lunch, I washed my dishes. Now I'm idle again and just filming YouTube videos to occupy my time. After this, I'll most likely just take a shower and prepare to pick up my brother as per usual. And that should take me to the end of my day. But before that, I want to talk about some more things, about some other things that happened to me throughout these past 2 weeks, especially when it comes to Monday, February 9th. On the night of February 9th, I almost relapsed into another psychotic episode. The trigger, and I'm sharing this because hopefully for other schizophrenics, you can relate. And I'm sharing it to give insight on how you may be able to break the hold of your delusional thoughts should you experience them like I did. Because thankfully, I did break out of the delusional thoughts that I was having. So anyways, I was hanging out with my parents on the night of February 9th, and I was also watching videos surrounding Jeffrey Epstein and the 3 million files that have been recently released by the FBI. The video was by CoffeeZilla, and he was basically talking about how the government is just lying through their teeth, and how the people featured in these files are basically admitting nothing and blaming each other to deflect any potential investigation that may be opened about themselves. And it seems as if justice will not be served for the victims of these people, and that the people responsible for these criminal actions in these files are going to get away with their wrongdoings. And then I looked into the comment sections of these videos, and I basically read through some conspiracies surrounding Jeffrey Epstein about how he's most likely still alive and how he's powerful enough and rich enough to actually fake his own death. And if anyone else knew the types of connections that will be able to fake his own death, it would be Jeffrey Epstein. And so from that conspiracy theory, I spiraled down into more delusional thoughts. I basically started thinking, if the government is complicit with a pedophile, and if Jeffrey Epstein and his buddies are powerful enough and rich enough to manipulate things in life, and to fake their own death, what other things is the government and all these powerful people complicit in hiding from the rest of the people, from the rest of us? What other things are they capable of manipulating and controlling? And then from that thought, I started thinking about my own previous delusions, about how the government is likely spying on me, how they know all the things that I'm doing, and even were powerful enough to communicate through the technology and the content that I was using and watching. And basically, one of my delusions from my previous 2 psychotic episodes were the government was watching me, and there's an entity that's watching me, and I have to perform all these things, these racist, homophobic, and sexist things in order to get this girl of my dreams. What if these delusions are actually not delusions and they're the truth? What if I do have to do things I'd have to perform in order to get together with this woman of my that I really like? And so these bizarre thoughts started spiraling in my brain, to the point where my heart started racing and I started breathing really frantically. And I felt myself really getting paranoid again. My brain was just abuzz. And I knew something was wrong. I knew that because this was the exact same feeling that I was having at the peak of my psychotic episodes. And so my impulse was to hide from my parents because I didn't want them to experience the shock that they went through during my psychotic episodes again. So I went into the bathroom and hid from them. And while I was in the bathroom, I basically tried to calm myself down as much as possible by breathing slowly, taking long inhales and even longer exhales. And really, what I did to get out of this delusional spiral was to logic things out, think things rationally. And I basically assumed the worst and played things out for how and saw how they will go. So first I was like, okay, let's say that Jeffrey Epstein is actually alive and all his powerful friends are indeed capable of manipulating so many aspects of life. Let's assume that he's still somewhere in the world in hiding and just living his life. I asked myself, what does that have to do with me? And are his buddies really that interested to control my life? And the answer to these questions were basically no. I have nothing to do with these people. I don't know what they're doing with their lives. I don't know their connections. And even if they are still alive, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm a simple guy. I'm a 26-year-old dude, unemployed, living in Canada. These guys are much, much more powerful people, and they have nothing to do with me. They have no interest in me. And so when I really started to think about it this way, that's how I kind of started to detach from the delusional spiral that I was having. And I also played out because one of my previous delusions was I had to do things in order to get a girl. Well, I played it out again and basically decided, okay, let's say I do perform again and I did all these racist things. I did these homophobic things again. and these sexist things, what's going to happen? And the answer is I'll most likely just end up getting arrested by the police again and end up getting confined in the hospital again for another 2 weeks or even longer. Nothing special is going to come out from me performing at all, because the evidence, which is my experience with mental health institutions, is showing that all this performance is going to lead to is my reintroduction into these mental facilities, these psychiatric wards. I'm not going to get any girl by being racist or homophobic or sexist. There's just no logic in that. And again, this is how I detach myself from the delusion. I logicked my way out. And thankfully, I'm back to normal. So basically, I'd suggest for other schizophrenics like me to do the same should they encounter delusional thoughts. And I'm lucky the only thing that I'm experiencing are delusional thoughts and not hallucinations, because basically I found the trigger to my delusions and I found a way to cope with it. One of the triggers is basically consuming content that blurs the lines between what's true and what isn't true. Blurs the lines between things that we do know and what we don't know. So conspiracy theories, these things like that is a trigger to my delusion and paranoia. So I figure to prevent any psychotic episodes later down the line, I need to basically avoid these types of contents. And because I'm only experiencing delusions, I found a way to basically snap out of it. And that's to be rational, to be logical. Play things out, try to assume the worst, and see where that would lead you in your head. Just think about it logically. So that's what I would suggest for people experiencing delusions. That's not a medical advice. That's just an advice from my own experience. Okay, so I'm not a mental health professional. If you are experiencing delusions, it's best to this is the disclaimer. It's best to basically share that with a professional, a doctor, and get advice from them too. Yeah, that's what happened on Monday, February 9th. Besides my near relapse into another psychotic episode, though, my previous 2 weeks have also been a little heavy because on February 6th, Friday, my feeling of uselessness really kicked in. And it came with anxiety and fear. Anxiety that I'm not doing enough. Anxiety that I'm not earning money, and the fear that I'm most likely not gonna be able to sustain myself if I keep going the way that I'm going now. My parents are about to retire, and soon I need to start earning for myself to live my life. And because I'm not earning money right now, I'm really worried and concerned for my future. It's keeping me up at night. And on Friday, February 6th, I basically came from the gym and realized that I had nothing to do for the rest of my day. And I was basically spending my time idle at home. And basically this feeling of uselessness and anxiety about my future triggered me to apply for part-time jobs. And that's what I did. I started applying to jobs again, part-time jobs, mostly restaurants like Chat Time, Mucho Burrito, Chuck's Roadhouse Bar and Grill, basically server positions, barista positions, those types of things. So I was thinking basically applying to part-time jobs that will help me fund my personal support worker school in May. Um, and just anything that would basically hire me to occupy my time. Unfortunately, no one has called me yet from these part-time jobs that I applied to, and basically I'm getting rejects left and right. So that's not going well. And because I wasn't getting any callbacks from these applications that I did, I felt even more useless and I felt even more idle. I felt like I'm just wasting time at home. And regardless of the things that I was doing, going to the gym, filming YouTube videos, going outside for a drive, none of it felt enough for me. I was even doing my laundry. I was cooking rice. I was doing all these household chores. I began doing them. But no matter how much I do at home, because I'm not earning money, the feeling is that I'm always not doing enough. And that's basically the predominant emotion that I've been experiencing throughout these past 2 weeks too, on top of the near relapse that I had. Yeah, it's been hard because I'm not earning money. I'm really, like I said, I'm really concerned about my future. However, on Wednesday, February 11th, an opportunity came knocking in my door. I can't really go into it specifically because the nature of the job opportunity requires confidentiality, and I don't want to share anything about the hiring process that they're having because that's part of the things that I need to keep to myself. What I can do is, if I do end up getting this particular job, I can share the title and the people that I'm working for. That I can do. But basically, an opportunity came knocking on Wednesday, February 11th, and suffice it to say, if I do get the job, I'll likely not pursue personal support worker school. It's that big of a deal for me. So it was a pleasant surprise because it came from a organization that I really want to work for. And remember from my previous videos how I rejected 2 opportunities in the past that were supposed to be a stepping stone for my own independence. Well, this time, this opportunity that came knocking feels like another chance, a third opportunity that if I manage to successfully take, will lead to a better life for me. I'm sorry if I'm being too vague. I really just can't share as much about it for now. But yeah, I'm really excited about this. It's something I'm really looking forward to in the coming weeks, months. Yeah. I'm so sorry I'm being so vague. I don't want to be cagey. I really just can't share as much. But yeah, that's... I don't know. So basically, I don't know whether I'm still going to be pursuing personal support worker school throughout the year. I haven't quit or anything like that. But the trajectory of my life depends on this opportunity that I'm talking about. If things go well, I have a new job, and it's a job aligned to what I studied from in university. But if it doesn't go well, I still have the PSW to fall back on. So um, that's pretty much what's going on with me right now. I don't know how to end this video, but I just really wanted to give a sort of update during these past 2 weeks. Next week, I'll be going to the snow tubing trip with my mom. I'm gonna vlog about that. I'm also gonna be meeting up with another friend of mine. I'm going to his place and really just getting inspiration from how he's living his life. I'm gonna be vlogging about that too. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know how to land this video. It seems I took flight, and then now I'm struggling to just land it. Anyways, that's it for now. I'll see you next week.